Obviously, one of the more important things when learning hieroglyphics is to make sure that our structure is right. One of the things that's not as important is spelling, because spelling can be done in so many different ways. And yes, I know in English you have some words that are spelled the same and mean different, but at least know that its structure is really what we're talking about. And we are wrapping up structure with our final tense, the future tense. Probably the least used tense on stela and monuments because, well, Egyptians weren't talking about the future that much. They basically knew their future was, with Ra, and it was safe as long as the sun set in the east and rose in the west, or set in the northeast quadrant of the south. Oh, I was never good at geography. Anyway, the point is the sun's always up and down, and there's three ways to know that you are in the future tense. One is hailing the visitor. We talked about this as the phrase, "Oh, the living upon the earth." We learned a little bit of new vocabulary for "oh" and the living and upon, combining it with words like the earth that we already know. The second part of understanding the future tense is the offering request. So you're going to see all three of these concepts put together, and when you see them, that's basically your context clue that you're dealing with the future tense. It's rare, but it needs to be learned. All right, so in order to understand the second part, the offering request, first we have to do one quick vocabulary addition. It's an important one. It's the word for to say or to speak. Now, in this tense, it's going to behave much more like the relative form, where it's going to be may I or may she, they, he say. So in this case, simply by changing the pronoun, you could say may you say, or we can say may he say. All I've done at the bottom there is I've kept the word say, je, and added a different pronoun. So the j, the d, and then the dj sound, the twisted viper, which is the j sound in English. Now I've just changed the pronoun. So in the first one I have she, which is sn, and then the second one I have he, which is sw. So just by changing that, I can say may you say or may he say. Then we can take that and we can say what this person says when they're hailing an offering. So in this case, may use the pronoun for she. May she say 1,000 bread, beer, ox, and duck or fowl. In other words, this is the offering that they are making in order to invoke the visitor to the tomb. You want to come see my tomb? Well, may you bring, if you will, 1,000 of these objects in order to pay homage to my tomb. And that's why you see them always combined with saying. So it's going to translate to may she say, and again, it would be may say she, but in English we're going to fix that to may she say. And then 1,000, the lotus, bread, ta, beer, hunka, ox, ka, and birds, opit. And then you can add to that at the end for the revered one, ka, ima, and the revered one here is Bob, B-O-B, made it simple. The justified, ma'aharu. So the whole sentence saying, may she say 1,000 beer, bread, ox, and birds for Bob the justified. All right, so that is the offering request. So first you're going to see that hailing the visitor. Oh, the living upon the earth, may you say these things I want to give to you. And then the final part is the appeal to goodwill or pity, or in this case, this is actually where the sort of curse of the Pharaoh comes from. Obviously, there really is no curse of the Pharaoh, but as far as writing an inscription that might be interpreted as a curse, this is the tense that it's used in. So, hey, if you ever want to spook someone out on Halloween or something, here's how to do it. So, we first have our appeal to the living, which you recognize at the top. Then Starting in that second sentence there, we have some new words to learn. So the first is the word musdv, which is hate. It's the foxtails, mus, followed by two of the stretched viper, j. And then our second word is death, which kind of a funny word. It's chaput. Like when you die, you go chaput. Chaput, you're dead. Sorry, you have to have a Yiddish sense of humor for that one. But it's basically the end of your journey, hence why the legs there as a determinative. So what we're saying here is, oh, the living upon the earth, who love life, mer, ankh, and who hate, misju, chaput, death. So, in other words, if you love life and hate death, then you're probably doing fine coming to this tomb. But if you fear death, hey, maybe you should run away from it. So, but that's where it comes from. That's the whole beware, ye who fears death. What you're really saying is someone who loves life, mer, ankh, and someone who hates, mis, chaput, death. Starting with the second sentence there is the word love, life, hate, death. And then the word and is put in parentheses because there is no and in ancient Egypt. We just add that in order to make it flow better as a sentence in English, which we've been doing a lot of. And it's part of what makes hieroglyphics a little easy, because you don't have to remember everything. You sort of fill in what needs to happen. So there you go. Those are your 3 full parts to understanding the future tense. Hailing the visitor, oh, the living upon the earth, offering a request, he says, she says, you say, may you say, and telling them that they love life and hate death. So if that's Sue, pass on. All right, our journey is getting a lot brighter. We're getting closer to the end of major structure. I hope I continue to offer the best possible lessons here. If you have questions, do leave them in the comments. I'll answer all your questions I can. And pretty soon we'll be down to vocabulary, and you'll be really impressing people. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope it helps with the future tense, and I'll see you next week.